All right, I want to thank everybody for coming today for this very exciting announcement. We're going to hear from two speakers. The first will be Daniel J. Elsner, President of Marian University. That's L-E-L-S-E-N-E-R. Our second speaker will be Marlene Dotson. She's the President and CEO for Indiana Latino Institute. It's D-O-T-S-O-N, Dotson. Thank you.
I want to welcome you, of course, on behalf of our board chair, Mike Becker's here, many of our vice presidents and some faculty, etc. Thank you for being here. Our counselor, Monroe Gray, you're here and always have been so supportive of the West Side and Marian as an anchor institution. I want to publicly thank you for your service to the city and what you meant to Marian. Anytime we call him, Monroe, he makes his way over here and was critical and doing so much with the Cycloplex, which is a booming operation now, so thank you very much. You know, I'm a very proud president. I recall back a mayor one time said about Indianapolis, I don't want to be a mayor of any mean city. Mean has two meanings. One is you could be a nasty person, but we don't even consider that here. But we also know that mean in mathematical terms would be middlemost number. We don't want to be in the middle of the pack. I get to be serving with the Board of Trustees, faculty, vice presidents. I have our new provost, Dr. Silva, and our outgoing provost, who isn't going very far, Dr. Indyking, here with me, and so many deans and vice presidents, etc., that have kept Marian University very well tied in vision and mission to being a great Catholic university in this great American city. Many, many years ago, when the various popes and leaders in the church, etc., looked at Catholic higher ed, we not only have a mission to serve our students very well, to help them become transformative leaders in the world as individuals, but also we want to have a dynamic influence on the professions. Take the Klipsch Educators College, you see Dr. Britt here, the influence we're having in education, Cold Spring School, our partnership with Riverside Academy, Cardinal Ritter. This community, this near West Side, is now just booming with educational activity, and I'm glad to say as a mission institution, we're in the middle of it. Here in this side of town, across the city, and really across the state, and now even nationally we're making a reputation. But also as a Catholic university, we like to witness the larger, what I call mega challenges in our society. Too many young people are not going to college, they have Core 40 diplomas, or they're going and they're not staying very long. There's a cry to higher ed to innovate, to bring new models that students are attracted to, new models that students can graduate from. And if you look at recent reports that are out, the Brookings Institute worked with the Chamber, in our society in Indianapolis, poverty has increased by 80% in the last 30 years or so. This is not acceptable. If you look at the reasons, there's multifaceted reasons, but right in the middle is a big old circle, and it's educational attainment. Sure, health care, sure, someone working in the family is important, sure, the wage of the person working in the family is important. All these other things, if you have concentrated neighborhoods with a lot of poverty, you tend to have high unemployment. Our labor participation rate in this city is way too low, in the 60 percentile. So when people are moving out to the margins, the higher income earners have grown by 5 or 6%. The people in poverty grow by 5 or 6%. That hollows out the middle by 10 or 11%. Educational attainment is the coin of the realm. So as a board and as a leadership of the university, we were challenged to witness. We can't sit with all of our wonderful PhDs, smart people, innovative people, a dynamic growing university that's attracting NIH grants, more students than ever, more talented students than ever. We've grown our faculty here in this neighborhood from 65, 67 faculty 13 years ago to 167 faculty, most all PhDs, many of them bringing great research projects. So Marian University itself is booming, but we're living in zip codes that are not booming for everybody. We could put our heads down in the sand and not notice. That is not acceptable in terms of mission and values of this institution. So we began to study nationally, even internationally, models of two-year colleges that are highly effective. What are the challenges? We did this study. We hired experts from outside to bring us information. There are literally thousands of students in central Indiana that have core 40 diplomas and no higher degree, no higher educational degree. That leaves them in low-wage jobs primarily, almost exclusively. And they can't move up the chain with the changing economy. The Lumina Foundation did us a great favor in this state. They're centered right here. They say we have to have a vibrant culture, social connections, and economy. We have to have 60% of our people in this central Indiana absolutely have to have some kind of credential, high level, high quality credential, 2-year, 4-year, master's, doctoral degrees, which we're expanding tremendously here at Marian. We've grown exponentially. But what about the students who aren't following the success? What about the people in our society? So we did the research. New innovative models are called for. These innovative models have to be relevant to the students. They have to be relevant to the employers. They have to build a foundation of lifelong learners, people that can move with the economy and with culture and with changes as it changes. It can't be just an education for today. The job today will be different. Probably 50 to 60% of the jobs that are present now can be automated. It'll require another level of education. The other thing that we cannot live with is that too often the educational attainment level are within certain groups of people that aren't experienced society. Latino education attainment level is way too low. That's not because of ability. We have to build models that make sense to folks in these various groups. So we're all together, we're unified. One strong society culture. So make it relevant, make it highly personal, shorten classes, connect it to employers, individualize instruction, teach lifelong skills of learning. With this model, we are going to attract, we hope, in the neighborhood of 300 to 400 students right here, very close to campus, with the support of Marian University's technology, finances, facilities, to make it very efficient and reasonable in cost. We are going to open a 2-year college adjacent to our campus. And as this 2-year college, we learn how to be highly effective in attracting students and graduating students and placing students while they're learning with the top corporations and businesses in town. So you can earn and learn at the same time quite comfortably. It'll be a 24-month program, no summers off. We're going to be looking for students with grit and determination to make a better life for themselves, their family, and make the local Indianapolis community better. Many of these students, when they graduate, will stay full-time employed. Some of them will come into Marian or other great institutions to complete 4-year degrees. Some of them will end up being our bosses, because there's a lot of kids with grit in this community that are ready to do something, but they need a new kind of avenue, a new kind of education. We're very happy that the board has supported this unanimously. We're very happy to announce we already have $1 million worth of commitments to this. Soon we'll have another $1.5 million commitment to announce, and other foundations, as we've talked about this. The board just approved it a little over a week, it was 9 days ago or whatever, but we had a board retreat, we approved this initiative, we're moving forward. I do want to recognize Ellen Witt, who last March the board voted to create an implementation task force after the feasibility task force came back. And Ellen, I want to thank you for your leadership. You need to raise your hand, I think this guy wants your picture. Yeah. So Ellen led a 30-member task force, board members, deans, professors, staff. It was really quite a collection of Marian leaders, and we're ready to take off and launch this bold new initiative. We will have our first class next fall. We own the church on 30th Street right next to Walgreens. Last year, Riverside Academy started in there, and this year with some more major renovations, we have a budgeted. We're moving forward. Greg Ginder, I see you shaking your head. You'll have it done, I know. And we will start educating students this summer, actually, summer of 2019. We'll have an orientation and exciting retreat scheduled for them to get them ready for this ideal setting of learning, and we'll be off and running. So I must tell you that in 10 years serving on the State Board of Ed, I've been a teacher, a principal, superintendent a couple of different times over, university president, as I said, 10 years in State Board of Ed. I go to meetings nationally, locally. Education has to change. New innovative models by people willing to reach out and venture, have the courage and the passion and the faith to venture, to make new opportunities available for students who are now not succeeding is essential. We hear the call. We have a pattern of hearing calls. When the state needed another medical school, we created one. When there was a crying need, and research tells us you need a new level of educator, especially for those least advantaged around us, we created the Educators College, now the Eclipse College. One time after another, when we see a need, as part of our mission being a Catholic university, you respond. And we respond always in partnerships. And Dennis Bland is on vacation this week. He's one of our great partners, Center Leadership for Development. The schools in the area, public, charter, private, all are good partners. But one group of students, if you look at the zip code, one group of students in this zip code where we have a growing population, strong population, where educational attainment can be advanced, it's a big part of our mission here at Marian, is in the Latino community. And so I'm very thankful Marlene Dotson could be here, and she has a few words to share with us about our partnership. So Marlene, would you come up? And you're the CEO of the Indiana Latino Institute, and you've been a partner for quite a while, and I invite you to make some remarks. Thank you.
Good morning to everyone. It's exciting to be here, an honor to be here for this great announcement. The Indiana Latino community continues to grow across the state. We currently are over 450,000 Latinos across the state. And specifically in Marion County, we continue to exceed over 100,000 Latinos. And with that brings challenges and brings opportunities for our community. And the Indiana Latino Institute plays a big role in the advance of education for our community. Our mission is to advance education for Latinos across the state. Many Latinos in our community currently choose to pursue a two-year college. And I do believe that this new year, two-year college program, just today announced, will increase access to higher education for many of our Latinos. And I do believe that this program is a great opportunity for those that are not ready maybe for a 4-year, but a good start for a 2-year program. I congratulate personally President Esner, Marian University. ILI has been working for several years with Marian University and look forward to our continued partnership. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you very much. At this time, I'd like to invite some questions because we could address you for a couple hours about this. We put a lot of work in it, but there's probably some pertinent questions that you'd appreciate being addressed, and I'm open to those questions at this time. Yes, Monroe.
Mr. President, it's interesting that we're talking about a 2-year college. What are we doing on the front end for the lower educational grades? Mm-hmm. So many of our kids we lose prior to the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade.
Right.
At some point, are we going to try to address that?
Yeah, Mr. Gray, of course, our local counselor, there's our chair of the council right there. Hello, Bob Osley. Good. Thank you for being here. The question, just to make sure you heard it, what are we doing about the pipeline, I call it? We're creating pathways. There's a lot of literature nationally. You have to create pathways that are concrete for students. And you want to know what we're doing. We are actually undertaking quite a bold initiative. If you look at the research, the teacher matters. And great teachers teach for with great principles. And so we have invested mightily. We had a good school of ed. We said, let's quit that and let's move into the Educators College. It's now called the Eclipse Educators College. This year we more than doubled the enrollment. almost 1 out of 4, between 1 out of 4 and 1 out of 5 students either Latino or African American. Their SAT scores are off the chart. It's the strongest group we brought into the university, this group. We go out and recruit. Dr. Britt and other professors go out and recruit. Your faculty diversity is very similar. I mean, we're doing a great job hiring African American PhDs and Latino professors in there. Because what we found from research is students actually literally, you can follow their test scores. The quality of teacher drives their learning. And the drive of learning actually, that the teacher difference makes is bigger for the under-resourced students. And there's a relationship between a diverse teaching force and achievement of students from diverse backgrounds. So we made it a big priority. We're in the process of raising $50 million for this Clips Educators College. I think we're at about 25 now. And Dr. Brett, when you leave here, hopes to go get some more and get some more students. If you take just up the road, Cold Spring School, 97% free and reduced lunch students. That was an F school for many years. Last 2 years, been an A school. Med students, teaching candidates from Marian, professors. We've been pouring our heart and soul in that school. And Zoom, same students, STEM-based school, and it's zooming forward. So our heart and soul as an educators, the sisters that started this school, for Sisters St. Francis, were educators. And we saw it as the greatest vehicle for social, economic, and cultural mobility is through education. So I don't want to be a braggart, but I would say as an institution, higher education, we don't, well, you're laughing, you are a braggart, President Elshern, but as an institution of higher education, I don't know of another institution that has put more force in building a nationally renowned educators college than what we're doing. It's a total new model that has residency requirements, much like the med school, and we're making a mammoth difference, and people are making mammoth investments in the college. So I'm very proud of what we're doing there. And that pipeline and those relationships will turn into students. That's one reason our enrollment's booming in the 4-year model, but also will work well with this 2-year. Thank you for the question. Probably didn't want that long of an answer, but it's a big project, and that's where the difference is going to be made. That's where the difference. It's a total process. It's not a 1-year deal. Any other questions?
Are they going to,
Go ahead.
Are they going to be learning just at that church, or are they going to be integrating into the?
One of the things that we want to do, the leader, we're in a search for a leader for this. We've already interviewed some. We'll do some more. Dr. Inneking, our outgoing provost, is going to shepherd the project for now. But we're going to have these students very much partner with Marian University, the main campus. For instance, their science courses will be scheduled in the summer when we have more time open and we can use our labs. So you want to create a tight-knit community among these learners. Research is very clear that once they're committed to one another and the professors are committed to the students, learning goes up, retention goes way up. So you want to do both and. But also, we're going to connect these learners, every student possible that wants to work, we want them to learn and earn. So they're going to connect. One America, I know, is represented here. We've had great discussions with them about reserving some slots for some of our 2-year students. We've had discussions with Lilly, FedEx. We've talked to a lot of corporations that are looking for talent, and they want diverse talent, and they want them to be well polished and grow with the company and have learning skills. So we're going to integrate relationships, curriculum, what we teach and how we teach with the community, external, with the Marian community. And their ID card of this new 2-year college that's yet to be named will get them to every asset and every game and every cultural event here on our main campus. So it's a unique cohort of students, a new innovative way to teach, but they're going to be very much of Marian University. It's just going to be a different model for students who choose it. Yes?
Do you have a ballpark number on how much tuition will be?
Yeah, we're trying to design tuition for right around $14,000 a year. That's 12 months. $14,000 to $15,000 range. If you take a student's Pell Grant, 21st Century Scholar money, et cetera, that's about what it'll take you to. So we'd like students to graduate this 2-year degree with little or no debt. There will be a fundraising priority for students who maybe didn't qualify for some of those programs for one reason or another. But our goal is to make sure that economics is not a barrier to success. Matter of fact, it's a big priority. It's a priority in our 4-year school, I mean, if you looked at our first-time full-time freshmen this year, 26% of our students are either Latino or African American. Being in this neighborhood, and way back when the sisters started the school in the 1930s, we made it a priority to have it integrated and make sure people of all backgrounds could be here, economic and otherwise. So one of the big parts of the research and the model is to have students retain in school, to help keep the cost down. A lot of that is going to be because Marian University has a lot of the infrastructure and support systems you want to recreate at the church down there. We'll use our technology people, our finance people, our facilities people, our academic support, etc. So there'll be, it'll be a unique college with a unique name, but they'll be of Marian, and we'll keep it reasonably priced. And we'll work with donors to make sure students who maybe for one reason or another can't qualify for that money, we will work very, very hard to find benevolent people who care about young people and the future of our society to fund them. And we're pretty good at that. Yes?
I understand 3 degrees will be available. Can you talk a little bit, expand on those a little bit? What exactly?
One of the things our research showed, if you take a student who maybe is underprepared coming to your college and open up a book of all these plethora of options, it's hard for the institution to be excellent at all these options, and it's hard for students to make a decision. So we want full-time professors in tightly knit degrees, and those will be refined as faculty are being brought on here in the coming months, and we're starting interviews with faculty. They will design degrees in technology, because the business corporate community that are growing and the new jobs here are going to be around technology, so we're going to connect that. They're going to be in business, so we're going to connect them to business management, marketing, sales, that kind of thing. The other degree will be a degree in arts and sciences, and that'll give you a baseline to move into nursing, other degrees in healthcare, possibly some will graduate with arts and science degree and go into the Klipsch College and become a teacher. And so we're going to fashion very tightly the curriculum and the coursework so students aren't bouncing around with classes that don't lead somewhere. 24 months, we want a lot of students to graduate at much higher rates than people would predict looking at national information. And there'll be meaningful degrees that'll place them well in the workplace or into a four-year institution where they can move forward. And by the way, we have a tradition here, and we commit to something, we're zeroing in like a laser, and we will be successful with this. And it will make a difference, but it's going to be through focus. You can't offer everything here. That's not our tact. Someone else have a question? Sir.
How many students in total are we looking to enroll?
The initial plan is to have, when it reaches 400 students, we'll probably create if we prove this model works real well, we'll probably go to another place. Next year's first year class, we'd like to be between 75 and 125 in the first cohort of students. Again, we're not trying to create a big manufacturing plant here and stamp people through. We want relationships, and we want to know the students, we want to know us, we want to know their families, we want to know what they need, we want to know their interests, we want to place them with jobs where they're getting meaning and excitement, so it'll be tightly knit. And our goal would be, if you really become good at this, which we hope to and plan to, and we'll pray hard and work hard to get it done, then we'll create another model maybe on the east side, or another one in a rural area where there's a lot of need for education. So the idea would create, ultimately, a network of small institutions connected to a host institution that has the power of a great university, and make sure we have students graduating at really high rates and finding success. So it will be a tightly knit community here in the neighborhood, and then we'll look beyond. Any other questions or comments? The fact that you're here tells me that we have such great turnout. Of course, this is the kind of community we live in. It's clear in all the leadership circles of our city in central Indiana that we want to have a great city. We want it to be great for everybody, economically, socially, and culturally. There's many factors that go into that, but at the center in this modern economy is great education. And we think that's for everybody. We think we belong, part of our mission and philosophy and values is we belong to one another, and we can't leave certain groups behind. New models are required in a new economy. This will be a great new model. We're going to work hard we'll learn a lot. We'll know a lot more next year at this time, and the next year and the next year. And as we're successful, we want to be every place in the city and around the state and even beyond, making a big difference. It's kind of interesting at the same time when I see Dr. Sefcik, the dean of our medical school, we just secured our first NIH grant through the medical school of almost 400 grand. So we're doing top-notch research with top-notch faculty from all over the great institutions of that country. At the same time, I guess we can chew gum and walk. At the same time, we're looking at a highly effective two-year college to make sure all students, everybody in between, can be part of the win of building a great university in this very city, in this very neighborhood. So thank you for being here. If you have any questions or want interviews afterwards, just let me know. And Mark Apple, thank you and your staff for putting this all together. And your time is very valuable. The fact that our counselor and our chair of our city council, Bob, thank you for being here. Always been very supportive of us and a good advisor. And we like to be a part of this community. We want to be a partner, and this will be another way we can do it. So thank you for your leadership, okay? Have a good day. Thank you.